Welcome to Dart tutorial videos presented by Kinder Morgan. These tutorials are intended to provide basic instruction in the use of Dart and its capabilities. While the pipeline used in a video may not be your pipeline of choice, the concepts being taught will apply to all Dart pipelines unless otherwise noted. This video will cover how to enter a service contract request. Our learning objectives for this video are: identify where to begin the service request process in the navigation panel, navigate throughout the screen, entering appropriate information as required, and save a draft of the service request and/or submit the draft for further action by Kinder Morgan. On the navigation panel, navigate down to Service Request. Click on the plus sign next to the Service Request folder. Then select the Service Request list. This will launch the Service Request screen. You will notice that the All Requests bubble is checked by default. We recommend you leave the All Request bubble selected and click Retrieve to see a complete picture of all contract requests and amendment requests in one screen. You can also filter for contract requests only and amendment requests only. Or you can further filter their query by entering a request number, request status using a drop-down list, rate schedule using a drop-down list, or you can define a term start from date range. In this example, we will use the All Requests and click on Retrieve to retrieve any previously submitted information. If there are any previous service requests, a grid such as this one will appear. If there are no previous requests, you will get a blank screen, and the screen status bar at the bottom will tell you that no data was selected for your query. From here, you can select an existing request, or you can start a new request. For this demonstration, we will concentrate on submitting a new request. Click on the New Request button. From here, you will need to decide if they are doing a contract request or an amendment request, and whether this is a new request or you are copying the attributes of a previous contract. We will use the defaults of contract request and a new request. Make sure the contract request and new contract bubbles are selected. Next, we need to select a rate schedule. Double-click in the rate schedule box and you will receive a drop-down list of available rate schedules. For this demonstration, we are going to select the Firm Transport Service. Select FTS, Firm Transportation Service, by clicking on it, and then click on the OK button. FTS will appear in the rate schedule box. Or you can double-click on your selection, and Dart will automatically transfer your selection to the rate schedule data input box. Next, click on the Continue button near the top right corner of the form. Now, the data entry form where you begin to provide specific contract information is launched. The top part of the form will have basic service request information like the request number, contract number if applicable, and the assigned Kinder Morgan account representative, to name a few. We begin our request by evaluating the shipper affiliation statement and marking the appropriate bubble. In this case, mark the No bubble. Then, the contract term start and end dates need to be established. Enter a term start date. In this case, we will use January 1, 2013, and a term end date. In this case, we will use December 31st, 2013. Next, enter the requested MDQ, or maximum delivery quantity, in decatherms per day. In this case, let's use 25,000 decatherms. Then, state if the MDQ is to be varied or not during the term. The default setting is No. If you select Yes, use the comments box to the right to explain the varied MDQ request and when the variations are to be effective. Next, define the rate for the term of the contract. The pipeline's max rate is the default for the form. However, you can enter a discounted rate if they would like for the discounted rate to be considered by unclicking the max rate bubble. The rate box becomes white and you can now enter a discounted rate. For our example, let's enter a discount request of $7.50. Additionally, you can view the rate as either a monthly rate or a daily rate by clicking on the appropriate bubble. The default setting is monthly rate. Now we come to the point in the request for service where you need to identify the contract's receipt and delivery locations. This is done using the grid shown in the middle of the screen. You can define as many receipt and delivery locations as you need to support your request. However, receipt and delivery MDQ volume totals must match when finished. If you know the pins for your request, you can enter the number in directly, or you can double-click in the point field box to obtain a list of available pins. We will show both the direct entry and pin lookup pick list capabilities. To begin, we will directly enter the receipt pin of 36101, and we will pick from a list for the delivery location. The form will automatically fill in the point name and segment data and the zone data if applicable, and move the cursor to the receipt delivery cell. Next, you will need to define the identified point as either a receipt, R, or a delivery, D. Either type in R or D, or use the arrow key to get a pick list and select the appropriate letter. We are establishing this as a receipt pin, so we will choose R. And finally, for this location, you will need to enter the MDQ in decatherms. For pin 36101, enter an MDQ of 10,000 decatherms. We can add another receipt if needed. In this case, we will use the pin pick list to add receipt pin 43886. Double-click in the next available point data box. A pin lookup table subscreen will appear. We are looking for pin number 43886. You can enter this number in the Filter Criteria box, or scroll down until you find pin 43886. Once this pin is found, select it by double-clicking on the line, and Dart will auto-populate the point information matrix with your selection. Moving back to the matrix, tab over and set the receipt or delivery flag as an R. Tab over to the MDQ field and set this location with an MDQ of 15,000 decatherms. Now, let's select a single delivery location to finish out this request. Double-click on the point field box to retrieve the pin pick list. Scroll down in the pick list until point 36105 displays. Double-click to select this point identifier. Moving back to the matrix, tab over and set the receipt or delivery flag as a D for delivery. Tab over to the MDQ decatherm field and fill in the MDQ amount. Enter 25,000 in this MDQ field. Notice that the receipt total and delivery total near the bottom of the form both equal 25,000. Next, you will want to locate the requester information area, which is located in the bottom part of the form. Review the statement for completeness and accuracy. When you are satisfied, click on the bubble so that it shows as a green check mark to validate the statement. This must be done prior to submitting the request. If you do not do this validation, the form will not submit properly. Once you are satisfied with all of the information in your request, you can do one of the following. At this point, you can save as a draft. It will not be submitted to the pipeline. Cancel the input altogether, and it will not be submitted to the pipeline. Submit as a draft to the pipeline for review, or submit final to the pipeline for action. For this demonstration, we are going to submit final to the pipeline. Upon submittal, as a final request to the pipeline for action, an email will be sent to the pipeline notifying them of your pending request. Thank you for viewing this Dart tutorial video. Should you have any questions about this Dart application or tutorial video, please contact your contract representative. To learn more about using Kinder Morgan's transportation system Dart, view our other available Dart tutorial videos.